People had moved out. They went to the technology center, found out broadband was available, actually had a video conference with their home office in Germany, and made the decision at that time. That was Sci-Fan, that located in Williamston. Now, to go back to the data part, which was really what I wanted to discuss, a lot of the companies do provide excellent detail, and I will give Stan credit. They do. Stan provides me with a spreadsheet. It gives me, with the exception of the VNH coordinates, or is that right for the GIS?
Lat long.
Lat long and VNH. Well, we'll argue those, or we'll discuss those. Let me change that. Those coordinates. That's the only thing that we don't have, and the only reason for that is so on our GIS system, which the public can access, and they can pull up by county, we can overlay from the locations of the remotes in the central office, normally a 3-mile, 1,800 kilofoot radius, and actually graphically depict the part about down to street. Our GIS, I don't think, will go down that low. So we really, I don't think we need it.
Yes, it will.
It will? All right, but then
The street address of the device, or the remote switch.
it's the remotes is what we're from the telcos, the remotes, because normally we can overlay that radius and show it. And that's the intent of all this. It's not just to take your data. It's to be able to show the public where it is readily available today and what areas don't have it. Now, from the cable companies, and again, like everybody else, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I'm trying to tell you to do our job, what we've been asked to. This is the information required. The cable companies provide data households pass. Some provide it as generically as by county. Now, in a county, the telco provides DSL, the cable company provides cable modem service. If you do it by county, there's no way we can separate the percentages or get, other than make a very educated guess on where the overlay is and come up with the comparison in the areas not shown. Now, what we'd like from the cable companies is a map showing the coverage area, a county map. Every one of the cable companies have that. They have it. I'm not asking you to put any other detail. We're just trying to show that graphically. And where your homes are and the homes passed by community, we ask for that. And some of the cable companies give us that in detail. I mean, the homes passed that they go by. And we use that, and in those counties we can do a great job of giving a very accurate percentage, and that's what we showed, not numbers, but a percentage of the county, the coverage area in the county. What we're really trying to do is show a graphic image of the county with the areas covered by DSL and cable modem service. Now, being technology neutral to address the wireless part, we try to collect that data. These are normally small operations. Wireless is not as specific as cable modem service or DSL. It depends on whether it's summer or winter, whether you get service or not. If the growth is on the trees, you do not get the service. In the wintertime, you can. I've looked at their data. I've looked at what they've done. We could show their tower sites and do a small radius around that. We'd like to do that just to make it available to the public, just so they could see what the options are there. But we have no intent of trying to disclose any of your data, give anybody a competitive advantage. Our whole intent is to show the coverage area by county of where it's available. The people in the rural areas, are they close to a DSLAM? And you'd be surprised how many people I have called me that have moved from one area that they can't get service to another area and didn't check to see if they could get DSL in another area. But it happens, and if this was available on a map, I think we could solve some of those problems, and that's our intent for asking the data. We'll be glad to work with all of you on coming up with a description of what's there, you know, what satisfies everybody's needs. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're not going to vote on this today, and it's obviously something that requires some further discussion. But what we'd like to see happen is this, is that the providers get with ENC and see if we can solve the practical problems that exist. I think that, and I don't think I'm overstating it to say this, lack of high-speed internet access is an item that draws more constituent complaints from any of us than any other item in the district. I have more of them over that issue than any other item in the district. I spoke with Speaker Hackney the other day. He has more of them from his district than any other item in the district. So this is a critical and important issue. Not in every district, not in every place, but in many places and in many districts and for many legislators. And so knowing where it is and knowing where it isn't, I think is important for us to be able to facilitate the solution to the problem, which is to get it in almost all the places and to get it at speed rates that will be functional not just today but for the future. If you all would, on a voluntary basis, I'd like for the providers to get together with ENC, see what you all can work out in terms of language. Think through your problems. You haven't had the bill very long. It does have significant items in it. It is better if we can get everybody to the table, everybody satisfied that we're doing this in a correct and proper fashion and a practical fashion. So if you all would work together, we'll try to set a committee meeting in about 2 weeks. That should give you enough time to go back and forth, talk with your legal, talk with whoever you need to talk to find out what your issues and questions are. If there's some language problem in the bills, it wouldn't be the first bill that had some of that in it, and it wouldn't be the first one we've worked on to work all that out. We'll work all this out. But when we're done a couple of weeks from now, let's see if we can't come forward with something that's going to get us the information so we can know where we have it, where we don't have it, and we then begin to take the next step of how do we get the public sector, the private sector, all together to try and solve this problem in a very practical fashion that will get high-speed internet out to our kids in high school who are trying to do homework, out to our entrepreneurs who are trying to do small businesses in rural communities, and out to our families who are trying to shop the internet and otherwise get basic information out of the internet in a rapid, quick, and reasonable time and fashion. So if we can do that, we'll be successful. Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to point out that if the legislation is not recommended now, then it may not be eligible for the short session, the bill deadlines.
Okay.
For requests and for introduction of bills.
What is our last date?
It has to be filed. It has to be filed by May 21st.
By May 21. So we're not going to have 2 weeks. Can we do this in one? Can everybody just get together? Let us come back on the 19th, and that'll give us a couple of days to do the drafting. I see some nods in the room. I understand everybody could, would, will. Great. We will reconvene a meeting of this committee then on May the 19th, with our goal being to come out with legislation that we can have to drafting and ready to go for the short session on this aspect of the problem. We understand this doesn't solve anything. This is just the beginning step so we can figure out where we are so we can go solve the problem. Okay, thank you with that. I appreciate everybody's participation. We are adjourned.